I'm only taking one step at a time towards healing myself. I had to get out, I found a way out. No more living in pain or misery. It's all about protecting my energy. Keep the negative away from me, because I am just keeping my peace. Cut off everything that no longer was serving me, and I chose to start loving myself. I walk in my purpose, no looking back, I'm only going within. Be.O. standing there, a better version of me. I must say that I'm proud of me. It's not about how you feel, I'm living proof that God is real. So let me show you how to heal. Damn it, I'm wearing it well, cause I came a long way. My journey isn't yet complete, that's what it look like to heal. Damn it, I'm wearing it well, I'm proud of myself. It's nothing to it, you can do it, all you gotta do is just fight through it. Creative soul, creative soul, creative soul. Just fight through it. Creative soul, creative soul, creative soul, creative soul, yeah, yeah.
Welcome to Pain to Purpose podcast, where we have open discussions to heal together as a community. Today, we are on episode 18, part 1, and it is our author series. Our special guest is Mia Deneen Smith. Welcome, Mia.
Hello, Creative. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so very welcome. How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Good, good. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it. Before we get into your story, I want to let our audience know that Pain to Purpose has merch now. You can purchase a tumbler now. All you have to do is email me to let me know that you would like to purchase merch. We have the tumbler, and then we also have the Pain to Purpose t-shirts now. It has the microphone on there. A little kind of hard to see, but it has a microphone on there, and then it says Pain to Purpose at the bottom of the shirt. So if you are interested in purchasing merch, all you have to do is email me, and that is creativesoul.business@gmail.com. Again, that is creativesoul.business@gmail.com to purchase t-shirts or the tumblers for Pain to Purpose merch. Now, Mia, let's get into this story. So what got you to begin to write?
Okay, so I really never saw myself as a writer, first of all. So I will definitely say that this is the creation of this book is a surprise, just as much as a surprise to me as it would be to anyone else. But this is definitely something that I feel like was a calling upon my life to write about my story. And so I began this work around, I would say, 2020. And I just felt called to write about my journey that started when I was young, and just kind of a concentrated healing journey that started between the years 2020 and 2023.
Okay. Great. Okay. So can you show the our audience the cover of your book
Sure.
and
So,
tell us a little bit about that cover? I see a heart.
okay, so so the title of my book is God's Work: How I Overcame Food Addiction through the power of God. And so this, the cover art is basically a cookie or a sweet of some sort, and it's a broken heart. And so basically, this is just symbolic of the fact that there was a point of pain and a brokenness that happened in my heart early on in life,
Mhm.
and that I used a poor relationship with food to try to cope with that brokenness. And so this, was kind of, just this was just really just this imagery just really spoke to me. And also really just the testimony that God has a way of of making broken things new and putting the broken pieces back together.
Okay. So we want our audience to purchase that book, but can you give us a little bit of the pain that got you to the purpose?
Absolutely. God's work, the story of God's work, is about my 35 plus year battle with body shame, that led to a low self esteem, low self worth, that kind of wove its way into my relationships, turned into codependency, kind of wove its way into everything, everything in my life. Turned into people pleasing, turned into codependency, and definitely from early on turned into disordered eating. By the time, I would say, probably by the time I was a teenager, I was battling a full on eating disorder that I was not really fully um, cognizant of and fully uh, really delivered from until I was into my 40s.
Okay, so you said there was a disorder. When did you actually realize, though, that it was a disorder?
Well, I would say that probably the healing journey that I went on started around 2020. So what I was what you would call a chronic serial dieter. Um, and so all of those things stemmed from, the body shame and low self-esteem that I felt from young, from being an overweight child, from being told from a very young age that something was wrong with my body, that my body was wrong, that I interpreted as something is wrong with my body that makes me wrong, that something is wrong with me. Um, and so with that being this truth that I carried around in my body, in my heart, and in my soul for all of those years, I was on a constant quest to change my body. So I was on a constant quest from, I was in Weight Watchers at 12 years old.
Mhm.
And before Weight Watchers, I was on, diet books and, you know, cleanses and cabbage soup diets even before age 12. So I was in my formal dieting by age 12, and, was basically a chronic dieter from then on. I had very disordered eating habits. Um, that I think, really, when you look at disordered eating and eating disorder, it's kind of a spectrum. So, I was not fully diagnosed with this binge eating disorder until I brought myself to a doctor in my 40s to say, this is what's going on with me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've been doing. And that is when I was diagnosed. Because what happens, and this is, a whole nother rabbit trail, is that, many times um, people are still looking for gaunt, affluent, young white women to diagnose for eating disorders. Um, we brown girlies hardly ever get asked the questions that we need to be asked, for even, for even to be tested, even to be diagnosed, much less get treated. And statistically, we are the ones that are more likely than our white counterparts to suffer from disordered eating and eating disorders, because we are not only the ones being told that our bodies are wrong, but we're being told that our hair is wrong from a young age. We're being told that our noses are wrong from a young age. We're being told that our skin is wrong from a young age. But those are not things that we can change. But what can we change? Many times the focus becomes on our bodies because that's something that we feel we have more control over. Um, so, to make a long story short, that diagnosis didn't come until much later. But it was really, I would say, I give all credit to the power of God, that kind of illuminated the whole situation to let me know that there was a problem that I needed spiritual and physical treatment and healing from.
Okay. And I think this book is good because a lot of young people, well, older people too, but a lot of young people, they see like in the magazines or on social media how they think this is how you should look. And so they start changing their bodies, trying to be like an artist or a social media icon that they see. And we have to learn to love ourselves and love ourselves within. So I think this is really good. And then also, we go through changes in life sometimes. But people don't understand that when they say things to you, if you don't have that mindset, you'll start believing those things.
Hmm.
Tell someone you're too big, you're too dark, you're too skinny. You know, those words are powerful.
So powerful.
And if you continue to tell people things like that, they'll believe it sometimes.
Hmm.
And
And
so you go
it's
ahead.
not meaning to cut across you, but it is exactly that awareness that I want to talk to, young people, and and moms, those of us that have influence with those that are in the generations coming up under us, to kind of just to be aware that our words are very powerful, and also to be aware that sometimes we can, as parents, as moms, as aunties, our job is not to co-opt with the culture, and to tell our daughters and our sons too the same negativity that the culture is telling them.
Right.
Our job is to speak a different language, a language of love, a language of acceptance, a language of you are God's work. That is our job. And so, but sometimes we get so indoctrinated by the culture that we start speaking the same language as what is out there. And
Mhm.
when that happens, our children grow up thinking that there's something wrong with them because they can't look like everybody else, not realizing that God didn't make them to be like everybody else. God made everybody to be unique. God made everybody to be his work, his masterpiece, to go and do great things and different things.
Mhm.
So that is exactly what you were saying. That is exactly the reason why I wrote the book, and why I want to speak on topics like these.
So, do you plan on going to seminars or being a motivational speaker with this as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had my first speaking engagement in April. My
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. Trinity Baptist Church in um, Triangle, Virginia, invited me to come and speak to their women. And it was an amazing opportunity because I had an opportunity to not only speak to women my age, which I'm 47, but I also had an opportunity to speak to their daughters. So the daughters are now in their 20s. They're the 20 somethings girls that are now kind of have grown up in this culture and are trying to figure things out. And so I really loved that event because most of the women who were there to support and listen to me. They also, many of them brought their daughters with them. And it was really a beautiful time to be able to just open up dialogue, to just really, to, open up some conversation that maybe these mothers and daughters, and even, some of the 20 somethings are mothers too. And for them to be able to take that home and really unpack it.
Okay. So is there a speaking engagement coming up for you that our audience can maybe find you at?
Well, I'm happy to be here today, doing what I'm doing with you, Creative. So, I'm just walking through open doors at this time. So, yes.
We never know what God has for us. I always say, God, open up doors for me bigger than I can ever imagine. So I pray that God opens up doors for you bigger than you can ever imagine as well.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. So, where can they purchase this wonderful book?
Okay, so God's work is available on Amazon. So just to go on Amazon. The full name is God's Work: How I Overcame Food Addiction Through the Power of God by Mia Deneen. And it'll be there for you.
Okay. And is there any final words that you would like to tell the young girls out there or anyone that's going through this same disorder or struggling?
I think what I would love to tell, young girls that may be struggling, um, is that, my journey came from, really, the journey had a lot to do with my healing, had a lot to do with me accepting who I was as a person, and accepting how God made me, and accepting his love for me. And that, God has really, an extravagant love for us. And the way he created us is perfect for our purpose. And so, I would just encourage, anybody who may be struggling to kind of try to hone into that thought that you are created perfectly for something. Like, if we look at all of the, the objects that we use every day, they have different shapes, sizes, colors, because they're all specific for different purposes. Their creator made them specific to be good for a purpose. And the way we look, where we're from, our personality, our shape, our size, our height, all of those things, God has crafted us, together perfectly for a purpose. And we are meant to, shine in a way that no one else can do that for us. So just really honing in on the specialness of you. And I know it's just really difficult when we're bombarded with the culture and bombarded with social media telling us that we need to be cookie cutters, all the same, looking the same, doing the same things, thinking the same way. But really, God created each of us to be individuals and to stand out in a very special way, and created us perfectly for a specific purpose. So when we think about that, that is what I would really want someone to, just really meditate on, in especially in those times when they struggle, that they are created perfectly for a purpose.
Amen. Thank you for that. And to our audience, I want you to know that you are loved by God, that you are enough, and to always remember that you are wonderfully made. And you can also purchase my affirmation coloring book on Amazon that is called Wonderfully Made. Um, just for our young girls to know and to understand they are wonderfully made, they are loved by God, they are loved by us. They don't have to change anything, and we all are unique. Remember that it's only pain until you discover your purpose and start your healing journey. I'll see you next time.